afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming in to Thick Chicks with Some Thoughts. Once again, I am your host, Sheila Joseph, and today I have three lovely ladies with me. We're going to be speaking about some topics. The topic of today is divorce, now what? And we have some returning guests that I'll have them introduce themselves, and then we can get on with the topic. I'll start with the young lady with the glasses and chewing on gum.
Skittles, actually. But I'm Kim. I'm from New Jersey.
And the young lady down below with the black shirt. And what's that? The
periodic table.
Great.
Really? Yeah. Suzanne from Boston.
And down below to my right, we have, yeah, you are muted. See. Yep, on, yes. Yep, her.
Hi, Sheila from Bridgewater.
Sheila Washington from Bridgewater. Yeah, that's her. So thank you, ladies, for coming in. We're just going to have a little chat about divorce now. What's been going on? Why you divorced? And some of my listeners have been asking me to approach and see what other people think. So I'll start off with anybody can answer this question. Let's start with you, Sheila. How long have you? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought someone was trying to say something. But how long have you been divorced?
5.5 years.
Okay. Kim?
My divorce was final in 2019.
In 2019, okay.
So 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
3 years, but separated since 2017. So.
Okay. And Suzy?
Good question. I don't remember. Let's see. Wait. I want to say 4 years. 4 years, but no.
You got divorced after me.
What month? I know I got my divorce was final in Thanksgiving. Wait, is it 2019? Is that what it is?
Yeah, because I was May of 2019.
I was November 2019 then. That's what it is. Thanksgiving. It was the week of Thanksgiving. Yeah. Okay. Only 3 years? Jeez, feels like forever. Anyways, go ahead.
You said it feels like forever?
It
feels like forever.
It feels like, well, I wish we didn't say divorce. Can we change it to unmarried?
Nope, we're going to keep it as divorce because that's where the life is.
I've been unmarried for 3 years.
We got unmarried. Unmarried.
3 years ago.
Yeah, and that's not even on the application or anything. So it's just like divorce. They don't even say unmarried. So we're not going to do that. So how long were you married, Kim?
We got married in 2019, so almost 10 years. From beginning to end. So we were married almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. Okay. And how about you, Suzy? How long were you married?
10 years, 10 and a half, 10 years married, maybe 6 months to a year separated.
6 months.
Almost. Yeah. 2019 is when the divorce happened. So yeah.
And Sheila, how long were you married to your?
17.5 years.
Oh Lord.
Wow. Bless your heart.
Now, anybody could ask this question. Now, where did you and your ex meet, and how did you guys meet?
I'll go.
Okay.
We met in college. Short story long. We met in college. We were friends for 10 years before we even thought about dating. We were just very, very good friends, and we ended up dating 10 years later. And the rest is where we are now.
Okay. And did you did you get along with his family?
I still get along with his family. I am still a part of the family. I just don't deal with him.
All right.
Um,
How about you, Susie?
You introduced me to my ex. Take a sip on that. Sheila introduced me to my ex. And what was the question? Sorry, what was the other questions you had?
I just asked, where did you guys meet, and how long, or do you get along with his family? Did you get along with his family while you were married?
Oh, introduced by you to my ex, my now ex. Where did we meet? I was in college at the time, so we went on a first date on my college campus. And then at the time, I did get along with the family. Now I don't speak to the family.
Okay.
And his mother-in-law speaks to my mom. So the ex-mother-in-law talks to my mom. So
Okay. Now, do you find that strange?
yeah, but I think that she just doesn't want to let go. So
Okay. Now, Sheila, do you get along? Do you? Where did you meet your ex?
A good friend of mine introduced us, and do I get along with his family? No.
Okay. Now, how long did you guys date, Sheila? How long did you date him before you got married?
6 weeks.
Well, damn.
damn.
Well, damn. All right. And
Mhm.
how about you, Susie?
He's 7 years, 8 years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so when did you guys, any of you guys can answer this. So when did you start notice things were different in the relationship? When did you get that inkling?
Probably 4 years in.
4 years in?
4 years in, I noticed, but given benefit of the doubt, you're newly married and you want to work things out. So just having conversations about it. But like towards 2017, I want to say that I just knew that this person was going to make the changes that needed to be done. So I felt that I was a little bit exhausted of putting all my time and energy into that person.
Okay.
So I meant consciously, I just said, you know what, let me take my energy back. Let's refocus on me. And things started changing. So
Things started changing for the good, or for
me, it feels good. And I think at the time, him watching me change and make myself better panicked him in his head. I think he panicked.
you don't think that because of the change, he wasn't able to be supportive of that change, or was it just,
He
he's like, forget it?
he made it appear that he was supportive of the changes I was going through. But later on, he sort of kind of confessed that, there were certain things that he struggled with that he said at first he was okay with, but then he really wasn't, but he was just saying it, I guess, just to say it.
Okay.
So.
How about you, Kim? When did you start notice that there was a change?
Probably from the beginning, but all of the red flags were ignored.
What kind of red flags?
The lying, the infidelity, the
Now, you chose to ignore these things, even though, did you address them at all?
they were addressed. And it was, it's not what you think it is. That's not that. That didn't happen. I don't know what happened, or it would be resolved and reconciled in a conversation. And like when you're in a relationship, you want it to work. We dated for, I didn't answer the previous question. We dated for 6 months and he proposed, and I was still kind of leery, but I accepted the proposal because it was like a big public proposal. And what do you do? So I'm just like, okay, well, this is just going to be the longest engagement ever. And we set a date. The date didn't happen. And I said, well, if you're serious, then set up counseling. And he set up counseling, and we supposedly laid everything out on the table, and supposedly whatever happened in the past while we were dating and engaged is we laid it out on the table, talked about it, and we're moving on and starting fresh. And it just began to be a repetitive cycle.
So
even
what-
after
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
even after we got married.
So what was the one big thing or hurdle that wasn't clicking with him and say, yo, this has to change in order for us to move forward?
Infidelity.
So did you
Finding
feel,
phone numbers in his pocket, text messages from other people, from other women.
Mhm.
Oh, we're just friends, or that doesn't mean anything, or they don't mean anything, or they
Right.
just gave it to me and I just put it in my pocket.
Mhm.
But there was one person in particular that throughout the entire relationship that he kept reconnecting with, and he would get caught every time. Every time it was the same person.
Yeah, sometimes guys just, they don't think.
So it's just like, and then you start to question yourself, and then you start to, well, what is it about that person?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they keep going back to that person? And what is it about me? Am I not good enough? So that's where I want to say, well, that's what really the problem became, because when I started to question myself.
Now, before we go on, Sheila, do you know, when did you notice the change in the relationship?
It took some time because I was in denial. I'm like, he'll get over it. He'll come to his senses. We were both older. I mean, who has time to be, cheating and doing it, whatever? But he was
They
never
make time.
content.
They make time.
I guess
They
so,
make
because he was never content. He was never content. And when I said I'm happy with where we're at, that infuriated him. He just said, wait a minute. He didn't want me to be content with where I was at. I'm like, I'm content with you. I don't need to go anywhere else. So after him having a tender chance, I'm like, you know what? Let me go so someone else can have me. I just opened the door. I wasn't going to argue. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to chase you.
Right.
No. So let him go. I feel like I'm too old and too grown for this crap.
So when the change started, ladies, did it affect you in the bedroom at all?
Yes.
It did. Okay. Was it to the point where it's like, yo, I'm just not feeling it. I got a headache. I got my period. What was it?
I used to pray for my period to come, and I used to pray for my period to stay, because and even when it was gone, it was still there to him. Right. And then it started to be, well, is it real heavy? Leave me alone. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch. Yeah. I used to be thankful that my period was there, or I don't feel well, or I'm tired, or I did that.
Okay. How about you, Sheila? Did things change in the bedroom?
It did. And I just said, leave me alone. Go to your room.
Oh.
Leave me alone. Go to your room. Leave me alone.
At least you had another room to send him to.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Oh my gosh. So did they ever question and say, what's wrong? Why all of a sudden you changing? Did any of that type of conversation happen?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, no, okay. You said yes, Kim?
Yes. Initially, because I was always tired, because I work full time, handling children, handling the household, managing the household. That's a whole nother full-time job. And all you do is go to work and come home, pop a can of beer open, eat dinner, and then you ain't got nothing else to do but be ready to pounce. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. But if you want some adult time and some adult action, help me with these kids, or help me do stuff around the house to make my load a little easier.
Absolutely, I hear you. So when the change was started, did you feel, any of the ladies can answer this, did you guys ever feel that you were falling out of love with this person and
Yes.
starting to open up new new lookouts, I should say?
Mm. Excuse me.
No? Falling out of love? Yes.
I believe you fall in and out of love with a person because as time goes on, people change, people evolve.
Mm-hmm.
You may be mad with them, you still love that person, but the love wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't like madly in love with him. Towards the end, it was okay. We have a family. We're just gonna go ahead and this is a rough patch. We're gonna get through it. And eventually towards the end, for me, I had emotionally checked out. And that's when I knew I was done.
And did you or did he file the papers or did you?
He filed.
Oh, okay. All right.
Mine did too. He filed.
Sheila, did you when the change was happening, did you fall out of love with him?
Oh yeah, I completely checked out. I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
I was done. We did the counseling. We did the church counseling. We did every type of counseling. So
Yeah.
I
How was
would
that?
show up and he wouldn't.
How was the church?
Oh,
How was the church counseling?
we went a couple of times and it was like, oh, they're gonna be on your side. I'm like, really? Whatever. So
Mhm.
he gave up. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna waste my time either.
No. Okay. Susie, did you fall out of love when the change was happening?
Yeah, I want to say probably 2015, 2016. That at one point I did tell him that I was not in love with him anymore. I still love him. Even to this day, I still love him, but I'm not in love with you. I care very much for you. I'm concerned about you. But I think that bothered him. That really bothered him. Really, and I knew once I said that, he was trying his best, but intimacy was gone. It was gone for a while, and that's how I connect with intimacy and other like certain things, and it's like as time went on, like I'm not getting that, and so I was just like, okay, so what are we doing? And like at one point, it felt like roommates, like being like roommates, unfortunately. But yeah, but even to this day, I mean, I still care. It's unfortunate that it had to end the way that it had to end,
Right. Did you think there was any type of infidelity on his part?
No. No.
Okay.
And that's one thing that he and I always said at the beginning, like when we were dating, we were just like, if you want to cheat, just speak up. Just say it. Just speak up. Let's be honest with each other. Don't do it behind the other's back. Like the contract is if one cheats, then we end it. But we didn't end it because of infidelity. It was other issues that caused us to. It was like snowballing.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So, all right. So, if he were to come up to you and say, "Listen, I want to spice up the relationship. I think we are in a rough patch," would you guys be willing to invite somebody into your bedroom?
Oh, you talking about the ex?
With that person?
No, while you guys were married. If he had come to you and said, "Listen, I know we're in a rough patch. We need to spice it up somehow. I want to keep this going," and he suggests that he wants to invite another person in, would you be willing?
Hell no. Hell no.
This Twix is amazing.
This
How
what?
are you, girl?
You said this Twix?
Yeah, the candy. I know what she's talking about. The candy. Homie, don't play that. I'm sorry.
Some homies do.
Would have never done that.
He wouldn't do it. I know he wouldn't.
He would have never done that. That probably would have been me.
It would have been you.
I one time I said, would it make a difference if I invited somebody in? He said no. He didn't want that. And mind you, I brought it up, but I had no clue at the time. Like, what does that mean? How you go about it? It was like, nope, not interested. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that conversation would never even made it to the front door.
Now, Suzy, did you have counseling with your ex?
Yeah, we had counseling during the marriage and even towards the after we had separated. And he was in his place and I was in my place. And then by the end of the second session, I knew my decision. I knew that there was nothing to save.
Okay, so why? So you said around 2015, and he's the one that filed the papers, right? But in that, I'm sorry,
I filed.
You filed. So 2015, you still trying to hope and pray that this is still going, even though the therapy sessions were like, basically a waste of time. And
well, here's the thing: there were 2 rounds of therapy. The therapy that we had when we were still married happened, similar to what Sheila said. It's like, well, if I go to this therapy, it's all going to be my fault. But it kind of stemmed because of trust, right? So
right.
One of the things I learned in that therapy when we're married is something called lies of omission. And I never even knew about that, where they give you enough, but they don't give you everything. But the thing is, I think what men don't realize, and if your woman is smart enough, like, we're watching you. We know most of your moves. We know how you move. And we see everything we need to see. And then for you to come to our face and you tell us what you think we only need to know, but we already know the whole picture. And I'm just like, I don't know how many times I was just like, he would tell me something and I knew the whole story. And I'm just like I couldn't come out of my face to say, I know the whole story. I just sat there and just watched. And I'm like, you are comfortable with lying to me. And when it came out in counseling, I remember as time went on, he's like, I don't feel like going because they're gonna pounce on me. And I'm like, but that's telling you that you have work to do. I'm not saying that I don't have work to do, right. But unfortunately at the time he had more work to do than I did on himself.
Okay.
And I understand, like, I wouldn't want anybody to come to a counseling and just be like, feel defeated. Like, you don't feel good coming out of there, so.
Do you think did you guys ever have individual counseling?
Yep, I did. He didn't care to have individual counseling. He thought he and I had suggested that he do individual counseling. But I remember him saying that just because I'm doing it doesn't mean that he needs to do it. I was like, okay. And it's towards the end, like as things started unraveling, that one particular night I remember, and literally the next day I was calling employee assistance program for my job and asking for a counselor for him. And I believe he might still be seeing the same counselor to this day. But I know that when he started talking to a counselor, we had a conversation. I was like, make sure your counseling sessions don't mean shit if you're not really open and honest and able to throw everything on the table when you need to.
Right.
So don't waste your copay. And so I said, be honest and do the work. This person's supposed to help you do the work. And so, yeah, he did the counseling. And I even knew that, like, after we divorced officially, he did call me and he apologized for 2 things. And I was just like, oh, I was not expecting apology. And that showed growth. And he understood where he needed to be as a man and a husband. So, yeah.
During that, was that during the relationship or was that after the divorce?
After.
Well, okay. Wow. Now, Kim, did you have any, did you guys have individual counseling?
Yes, we had individual counseling and we had counseling. We had counseling, I think, at like the mid part of our marriage, because there were some issues and we decided to try counseling and then we stopped. And then at the end, when we separated, we had 4 sessions, and at the middle of the 4th session, like literally 20 minutes in, I decided I was done. I was done.
Okay.
We didn't even finish the session.
Oh, wow.
After about 15, maybe about 10 minutes in, I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. And the therapist was just like, that's the first time you said anything and the 3 times that we've been.
Wow.
Other than hello.
Oh wow.
And he went and got the divorce papers out the car and was trying to force me to sign them right then and there. And I wouldn't.
Wow.
I didn't. Here's the thing. I don't need to sign them. I didn't need to sign them. Go ahead, file and do what you need to do, and the court will contact me.
Right.
And that's it. But I was done. I knew I was done right then and there.
Okay.
And there was no hope for reconciliation.
Okay. Now, how did you guys feel when you signed the divorce papers?
Relieved. I grieved probably for about 2.5 seconds.
Ma'am.
Stop it, Lord.
At least she grieved. At least she grieved.
She counted it. She
I had a
timed
moment.
it.
When everything was done and you're watching the judge literally go into her spiel about finalizing everything and do you want your name back, and I had a moment probably for about 2 seconds, and I was done. Now to move on for the rest of my life, I took myself to lunch and bought myself a drink and I celebrated by myself.
All right.
Go on, girl.
All right.
Took my name back and closed that chapter. But then what I had ahead of me is I had to, be prepared for. Like that was one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. Is go through that divorce. Only because he made it hard and there's children involved.
Right.
So it did take a toll on me mentally, emotionally. It did break me. Not only financially, but emotionally it did.
Right.
And towards the end, I also unexpectedly lost my sister. So a month, literally 2 days before my divorce was supposed to be final. So I had to deal with that, postpone the divorce to the next month. I had to postpone that after going back and forth to court for 2 years, literally at the end. And my sister died that Sunday. I was supposed to go to court that Tuesday to finalize my divorce. And, dealing with that. So I was just kind of all over the place emotionally. So that was just kind of it became one thing crossed off my checklist. And I had other things that I had to, take care of and still go to work, take care of the kids,
right,
pay bills, everything, and still try to have, it was the start of a new life, but it was like a burden that was lifted.
Very good. How about you, Sheila? How did you guys feel?
I was
you were relieved?
I was
so
sad.
The BS stopped.
So. Now, what? How about you, Suzy?
I was sad. I think for me the significance is like in my case, you spend all these years with this particular person, you get to know them, and you build this relationship. Because he and I were together from 2001 on, so, and just to know you walk into a court and in 15 minutes it's all gone.
Right.
Like I came out, I remember coming out and I remember going to my car and I cried. And I knew he walked behind me and I know that he was not happy either. And I know he had a hard time. Nobody gets married to get divorced. And I honestly did not want to get a divorce. I didn't want to, but I think to save myself and to save him.
Wow.
I had to save him. And no, I mean, the thing is, you have to, what I learned in my relationship is, as much as I decided to take the energy back and put it into me, I realized that he needed help. He needed to take care of himself. And he could vouch that there were many conversations we had way before the divorce even happened. I'm like, you need to learn how to make yourself happy. I'm trying to learn how to make myself happy. So I'm like, if you're not happy, and I'm not happy, and like individually, if we're not happy, how the hell this is supposed to work?
Right.
Right. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, I don't mind doing that if we were married, if you were on the right path of doing it. And, I'm trying my best, but it felt like one-sided, like I'm going to counseling, I'm trying to do this.
Right.
And you're stuck. And I think that, like how Kim said early on, like there's red flags and we could easily not pay attention to them.
Mhm.
All of a sudden, like I'm seeing the red flags, and then when I look at one particular red flag, it
Mhm.
literally rewinds me back into time with how many times that happened.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, how many times? Like, how much do you want to take? That's
Right.
that's a beating.
Mhm.
It's not domestic abuse, but it's like you're mentally torturing yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Because they have red flags at carnivals, right? So we thought we were at a carnival.
There you go.
Stop.
There you go. Right. Exactly. There you go. So it's you see them, but you just avoid them. You don't avoid them. You don't even recognize them. You don't acknowledge them. You keep on
Don't see
going.
it.
You
Don't
keep on
see
going.
it.
You don't think nothing of it until something traumatic happens to you, and you pause, and you're like, the signs were all there.
Yeah.
Hence, in the carnival, the red flags were all there
Mm-hmm.
in plain view, plain
Okay.
sight. So,
All right. Now, when you guys, let's move on to a lighter note. When you guys officially divorced and we're done,
oh boy,
did you guys act out?
what do you mean?
No.
What do you mean?
Now,
What do you
Act
mean?
out. This is what I mean. Suzanne, Kim.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying Sheila.
What? Wait, why you?
Yep.
Wait a minute.
Because I know Sheila. I know Sheila, I know Suzy, and I know Kim. Just kidding.
I'm concerned.
Did you guys have any whorish tendencies?
You talking about whole face?
Not phase, tendencies and
A whole face?
and beyond. When you officially are done, you had that
I
2.5
don't like-
seconds.
So I don't like the term whole phase or whore tendency.
What's the word then?
Did I live my life? Yes,
Okay.
I did.
For how-
Carefully.
Carefully.
I
Okay.
had fun. No, you know what?
Have fun.
Suzy will tell you, I had a night, right? A couple months after my divorce, and we were out. We were like on a weekend trip. And I had not even an epiphany. I was in the shower getting ready, and I came out and I said, you know what? I think I'm gonna be a hoe tonight.
Oh, okay.
Listen, she's at the mirror getting ready to put makeup on, and I come out the bathroom and I'm like, huh? What? It was a meme in the making, swear to God.
You don't know what I meant by that, but it just came out, and that was just kind of my, let me do something outside of my norm.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so
At the time of our lives. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
yeah, so that was the first time I had
Okay.
a fun
Did you?
time.
Okay. Any Suzy, Sheila, did you guys have any fun times after your divorce?
I did.
Okay.
No. I regret it now, but nope, I didn't.
Oh wow. Okay. Suzy, did you have any fun times when you finally got divorced?
It took me a little bit to
get back into the swing of things.
Yep. And I lived my best life. I had my moments. Kim knows. I had some.
I know nothing. I don't know anything.
One time,
pull you in. She's trying to pull you in, Kim.
I don't know.
Guilty by association.
Is a bad influence. Listen, Kim is my bad influence. I'm
really
nope. I'm a church parent.
No, ma'am.
Our Father, who art.
Oh no! Stop it! Now, you guys are in a relationship now?
I'm not.
Yeah, I am.
Kim? Yep, anytime, Kim, anytime.
I am enjoying.
You're enjoying yourself.
I am enjoying life.